Welcome to this week's edition of CEO Corner. I'm Otis Rawl, President and CEO of the South Carolina Chamber of Commerce. Today I'm happy to have Congressman Joe Wilson from the 2nd Congressional District to talk to you a lot about the issues that he's facing in our country or facing in Washington right now. What we'll be talking about today is health care initiatives, employee free choice, and cap and trade. So, Congressman, thank you for being with us today.
Well, Odie, it's wonderful to be with you. I greatly appreciate the South Carolina Chamber, and I enjoy working with you personally, with the Chamber, with our local chambers. The chambers make a difference creating a pro-business environment in South Carolina.
Well, we thank you, Congressman. I know everywhere you turn on TV right now, town meetings are being held across the country to talk about the health care initiative that y'all are debating in Congress right now. Can you talk a little bit about where it is first, what's going on, and your perspective?
Well, I'm really grateful. In the last week, I've had 4 different town hall meetings. I enjoy meeting with the public. My service in the state Senate for 17 years now, 8 years in Congress, I've always had quarterly meetings, but I've never had meetings so well attended. People are rightly concerned. The health care bill, all 1,000 pages of it, will have great impact on the families of the people I represent. In particular, I'm concerned that the diagram which explains how this would work is all focused on the Health Choices Administration. This administrator, I believe, would be all-powerful. The health czar, who would also run 53 new agencies. This is too large. We need to have reforms. I appreciate the Chamber has been in the lead of bills that I've introduced in the past for association health plans, for providing for insurance to be bought across state lines through the internet. There are ways, targeted ways, to address the reforms we need, but not to have a big government approach. And the U.S. Chamber, South Carolina Chamber, our local chambers have been in the forefront getting the attention in August of members of Congress, and good changes are occurring, and we need to have a bipartisan approach, Republicans and Democrats, not exclude the Republicans. It needs to be bipartisan for the people of the United States.
Well, I know you talk to most of our members, Congressman, and whether it's the insurance companies or the business community, but most of them will tell you there's enough money in the system right now to cover everybody. And actually, when you look at the system as a whole, basically everybody has some form of coverage right now. So the way the business community looks at it is very much like you're looking at, we need to have the reforms to put new initiatives in place rather than creating an entire new system.
And absolutely, and I really point out that one of your chamber members actually brought this to my attention. If you think the system is bad now, wait till it's free. That's just not going to work. I also equate it to democracy and capitalism. We have the worst healthcare system in the world, except for all others. Capitalism, we know, is the worst economic system, except for all others. You can always find fault. Democracy is the worst than all the others, except that we know that democracy works. And so the same with our healthcare system. And I'm very proud that in America, for episodic single diseases, that we have unquestionably the best healthcare system. I really appreciate that recently the state newspaper pointed out that the reason that we have a high infant mortality is not because of the health system. It's because we have people who lack education. We have people who don't eat the proper nutrition. We have people who do not exercise. And the bill that I'm supporting promotes wellness. It promotes the creation of jobs. And sadly, the bill that the administration has been proposing will eliminate 1.6 million jobs, could eliminate 4 million jobs. In South Carolina, as we have unemployment nearly 12% or up, we've got to address this, and we should not make South Carolina and America non-competitive in the world.
Well, I know that you've been instrumental in introducing 2 amendments to the bill that's being debated on the House floor. One dealing with TRICARE, which affects many of our military people that we have stationed in South Carolina. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Right. I was able to get an amendment that carves out that TRICARE is not to be folded into the government system. And it was sort of funny, Odie, but one of the benefits of having served in a legislative body for 25 years is that when they said, you really don't need it, it's already included, I said, I appreciate your advice, I move adoption. that if it's not needed, then it won't hurt to have it included.
Right.
In fact, it will help, and so it was. And then a commitment that I made, I spoke to the Hilton Head Island Republican Club, and members there said, Congressman, if this bill is so good and this plan is so good, there should be a requirement that people who vote for it have to take the government option.
Right.
So I introduced an amendment, and I'm very pleased. In the early hours of the second day of our deliberation, it was passed. And I'm very hopeful that it will be included in the final version.
And then what that amendment did was subject y'all to the same health benefits as the rest of America.
Absolutely.
And we appreciate you, standing tall on
Well,
that.
hey, it needs to be fair,
Yeah.
because I know that they know that the government option is not in the interest of the people of the United States.
Gotcha.